So once again, thank you so much for being here. Today I will be talking about culture shock. So I think this is a pretty known phenomena that occurs amongst a lot of international students, and me myself being an international student here, I feel like there's a lot that I have experienced, so I would like to share that. But before diving right into the presentation, I'm going to quickly talk a little bit about myself and my background. So my name is Shreya. I've stated multiple times. I am originally from India. Gurdwara, which is my hometown, is a small city or a town in North India. So I've lived in India for around like 10 years. Then I moved to Thailand, and now I'm here. And I am, like Kenny said, I'm double majoring in international studies and journalism. I love to dance. I love to do Bollywood dances. I am fond of music. I really like underwater diving or scuba diving, as a lot of people call it. And yeah, that's just a little bit about myself. My family, they're still back in Thailand. So yeah, I have a younger sister as well. Okay, so we'll dive right in. What is culture shock? I got this off the internet. So, culture shock is basically an experience that anybody can have when they move to a different environment, something that resonates nothing with their culture, just something a whole new different environment. So, here I've quickly stated India to Thailand to US because that's kind of like my life story, a bit of background of where I've been and how I've seen places. So I'll just be sharing about my experiences from these three different cultures, and I'll be talking to you about how I experienced culture shock when I moved from India to Thailand and then Thailand to US. So just a quick rundown, I have highlighted three main differences that I have noticed in these three cultures, and just one additional observation that I have noticed traveling around the world multiple times, and then I'll just be sharing those for now. So the first one is way of greeting. So way of greeting in here, I basically mean like how people just like say hi, hello here. That's just basically how I'm going to talk about the differences that I've seen in India to Thailand to US. So for India, people join hands together like this, or sometimes they touch feet to receive the blessings of elders. In my culture, in my religion, we say namaste, and to touch the feet, we say pranam. So whenever I go back to India and I greet like my grandma or my uncle or my aunt, instead of saying namaste for my particular family, like we usually touch the feet and get the blessings. My elders, they just like put their hands on my head just to like give me blessings. So that's how we greet people in my culture. Then when I moved to Thailand, they have a whole new way of greeting people. So they also join hands, but at the same time, they make sure that they bow down as a sign of respect. So we say Sawadee Ka or Sawadee Krap for boys. Um, and yeah, so that was just something new that I had to adapt to because that is similar but still a bit different from my culture originally. And then after coming to US, these are just my mere observations, but I have noticed people wave, handshake, and I put handshakes because people our age these days, we just tend to make up our own handshakes when we greet our friends. I do that with my friends, so yeah. I've also seen people hug, or sometimes they just bow or nod to people. And this was interesting to me because I have not really seen a lot of people like hug back in India and Thailand when we meet people. And I do that all the time I'm here because that's just something I got used to after coming here. So these are just a few differences that I have noticed along the way. The next thing is addressing elders and teachers. Now, this was like basically by this, what I mean is just like how we talk to our elders. Like, do we address them by their first names? Do we have a designation for them? So there are a few differences that I noticed along my way all the way up until here as well. So the first one is going to be for Thailand. um well, I was in an international school in Thailand, and there are a few observations that I made when we address our teachers. So we call them either Mr. or Miss, for example, like Mr. Andy or like Miss Katrina or anything like that. Um, we usually say their first names instead of their last names. So yeah, like Andy or Katrina, they would be like the first name of our teachers. In Thai, I know a lot of people give like designations to their teachers. For example, a professor is called like Achan. So we say like professor and then followed by the name, or just professor in general. We don't really call people by their first or last names directly. And just for other people like mom, dad, we have like relational names for all of them as well. In India, we do not use first or last names to address anybody older than us, at least from my experience. That is considered disrespectful in our culture, which is why we have like designated names for all other relations as well. So, for example, my sister, instead of calling me by my name, she's my younger sister, she calls me Didi, which is like a word for an elder sister. So we just use like these relational names for each other. And when it comes to addressing our teachers, we either say sir, ma'am, madam. We don't really say professor. It's just usually like sir or ma'am. And we don't even put their first names or last names followed by it. We literally just say like the English sir or the math ma'am, something like that. From what I've seen. And then when I came to the US, that was completely different from my experience because um, my professors here literally almost forced me to like call them by their first names, and that's something I'm just completely not used to. But I've noticed that people here, they have like relational names, so like mom, dad, uncle, aunt, which follows by like their first and last names. Um, and yeah, so that's a few things that I have noticed. Something that it took me a while to get used to. Um, and yeah, so these are just my few key observations from these three different cultures that I have adapted to. The third and final key observation that I made was in a classroom environment. And I came here in 2018, and the classroom setting was like really new to me. It was very different. So I think I have quite a few to share about that. So first thing, number one is for India. Leaving the lecture while the teacher or the professor is talking is not generally permitted back home. You can ask for permission in class, like you can raise your hand and you can just be like, I need to use the restroom, or could I just go out for like, if you have to go out for like an emergency, you just have to ask the teacher like on the spot by indicating that you have a question. You just cannot get up and leave. In Thailand, you can either raise your hand and then you're going to get like a hall pass and then you can go and leave during classes or during lectures. And here, this is just my experience. I'm not sure if this happens everywhere, but I have seen that I have heard from some students that they leave using a hall pass, and in colleges, you can just leave the lecture if you have to. And this is weird because when I first came here, I was like at the Straub Hall in my psychology class. It was a huge lecture, and I just saw people just get up and leave for the restroom, and I could not really understand why that was happening because I have never done that and I have never really seen that happen in the first place. So it confused me a lot. And it took me a while to actually start observing that people do that, and it's okay. It is not disrespectful or anything because that's just how people do it here. And then I still cannot do it. It still takes me a while to just like know that I can actually get up and leave if I have to. But yeah, so that's something that I observed in these three cultures. And the final observation that I'm just going to talk about, this is not related to like a practice, but it's more about the cultures in general. So, like being like a global studies major, I have learned a lot about like collectivism and individualism. And this is something that I have noticed between these three cultures that I've switched around with. So, for India and Thailand, I feel like both the cultures are very collectivistic, and I'm going to explain what I mean by that. So, for Thailand, I cannot say a lot because my family, we're not Thai, we're actually Indian, but we've just noticed similarities between the Indian and Thai culture a little bit. But we value family values like a lot. We have a lot of religious practices, we have like a lot of festivals, traditional values, cultural values. So everything that happens like in our culture, it's very family oriented. Say we make a decision about moving out, or say we're making a decision about getting a new place, everything is going to be very family oriented. So it's like a very joint family culture. Like a lot of people will be involved in a decision making process, or a lot of people will be thought about while making a decision. And we tend to use the word we a lot, like I have been doing a lot during this presentation. So say I'm in a group project with a class, even though I did end up doing my part of the work, when I'm presenting it, I would probably present like, we research so and so, because that's the kind of culture I come from and that's what I grew up with. Um, I usually tend to address everybody in the room because that's just how we do it back home. So yeah, it's more towards like it's a codependent interrelational kind of community. But after coming to the US, I got more acquainted with like the individualistic approach. So I just saw people like have the sense of independent living, as I've mentioned here. Like, I don't know how true this is, but I've heard stories like people can move out after a certain age if they deem necessary. Family values and traditions, I'm very sure that they still remain because I've seen people celebrate festivals here, be with their families. But the only difference that I've noticed is the use of the word I. People can obviously talk with their independent stance, like they're able to talk about themselves or the work they did just for themselves. So I feel like individualism exists more in the US culture than it does back home. And to be very honest, I have been enjoying this a lot because even though like I appreciate a lot of the collectivistic traits that I have in myself, I feel like just to gain independence as an individual, I have been able to do that a lot after coming to the US. So I think that's something that I really appreciate about this culture, and I've learned a lot about it. But since the time is also limited, I don't have a lot more to say. But I was just gonna say that keep in mind that these are just my mere observations. I can't really be sure that this actually exists in the culture, but this is just something that I have observed along these 20 years of moving to three different countries. And yeah, it has been a great journey so far. I feel like adaptability is something that I have learned a lot. The Indian culture, the Thai culture, despite being similar, they are very different. Even though both the countries are in Asia, they're like in different parts of Asia, and they are very different from each other. And then coming to the US was a whole lot new change. It's just coming to a whole new different culture. And I did experience a lot of culture shocks, as I have stated in the presentation. I did adapt to a lot of them. I am still adapting to quite a few of them. But yeah, so I was just gonna say that keep in mind that these are just mere observations that I have fallen through with along the way. And thank you for listening. And if you have any questions, I'm open to that as well.